Hello everyone, welcome back to the equipment corner. Today we're going to be going over lanyards, so like duck calls, what I have on my lanyard, what I run. Um, if you know me, I'm a big waterfowl guy. I love duck hunting especially. I've got two lanyards, mostly because I have been fortunate enough to be gifted lanyards. Lanyards aren't that expensive, but I just the accumulation of calls and things like that. I have two separate lanyards for different occasions. One is my goose lanyard, so when I'm goose hunting, I have one lanyard, and when I'm duck hunting, I have another one. So what we're going to go over first is my duck lanyard. There's certain things on here that always stay on here that don't really come off. I might need to retire it, but to begin with, I'm going to start by saying what type of lanyard I have. It is a heavy hauler. Um, it's This is my lanyard. I mean, it's a nice one. I really like it. It's really good. It's got a lot of space for calls. Obviously, I put on Heavy Hauler's a really good company for this. I put this on. This thing. You can get that from their thing. You can get like an 8-pack of them. They're essentially just more spaces for calls. It's like I said, I like it. It's a good one. This is what I use a lot. This is, like I said, I don't know what model it is. You can get it. It's got uh, five five slots for your calls. Obviously, I added this one, and this one came with a spot for a whistle for your dogs. I cut that off and just melted it back down because even though I do have dogs, I do not use whistle when I'm running them, so it was just wasted space, so to speak. So I cut it off, melted it, and mounted this where that whistle used to be. So that is what I use for this. This is my duck lanyard, obviously, and I'm going to go over the calls that I use on it. And most of these calls are, especially to me, they're on here for a reason, but I do not want to get into that. But to begin with, a lot of this stuff is Duck Commander. In my opinion, Duck Commander calls are your best bang for your buck. I don't know what price everything is. I can't remember because it's gone up quite a bit. But similar quality calls from different companies cost a lot more. So I think it's really good. They're a really good company to go for. But to start off with, this is only not duck call I have. This is going to be a constant between the two. Where I hunt, there's always a lot of geese flying around, so I always carry around a Goose Call with me. This is a Zink Power Clucker PC1. I don't know if they make these anymore. This is a good one. I like it. It works well. It's a little bit more high pitched than your normal Goose Call. It's more of a snow Goose Call, but it works really well. I've called in plenty of geese with it. It's perfectly fine. It works very well. So, going on to the rest of my lanyard, these are what stay on my call. There's one that on my lanyard, one that can be interchangeable. I got a triple threat, Duck Commander triple threat. This one has seen a lot of use. It's starting to crack in certain places. It might be time to retire it. Triple threat, it's a really good call. It's got a lot of range on it. It's really good, like beginner call, in my opinion. The only problem with it is it does freeze up really fast because there are 3 reeds. There's more surface area for it to freeze up or like get stuck together. But like I said, I like it. It's a good, decent beginner call because anyone can make a sound with it. Like, I mean, it's really easy to use. Said this one always stays on this duck lanyard. It's very useful. I enjoy it. So the only problem is when it gets cold, it starts to freeze up a little bit more. Like I said, most of this stuff is Duck Commander stuff. This is a Duck Commander duck picker. If I remember correctly, this triple threat is like $40. A triple reeded duck call from like Zink or Buck Gardner is like north of $100 for the most part. So like that comparatively, I'd definitely go for this. This is a Duck Commander duck picker. It's about the same price point as this, except it's a double reed call. This is more my go-to call nowadays, just because you can get more range out of it. Something to note about Duck Commanders, I've used this call so much that stuff was starting to split on it. It's very affordable to get replacement parts. I think it was like $2, and I got 2 more double reeds, a new rubber stop, and it was all, like I said, it was all like $2. Very good replacement parts. You can get them, reinstall them very easily. Again, you know, it's double reed, so when it does get cold, it does freeze up. Not as fast as your triple thread, but it does work. It's a good call. There's a little bit of range to it, not a lot. Said really good call. I'd recommend it. It's a great call, great to start off with. In my opinion, it's probably the best. A good double reed call is the best to start your kit off of. Personally, I like Duck Commander just because that's what I use now. Out of all the duck calls I have used, they're the best. Especially for the bang for your buck, they're really good. I would definitely buy another one of these. These are good duck calls. And then moving up on the list, I do have. This is a Beaver Creek Game Calls Dark Night. Important thing to note: I am on the pro staff of this company. However, I do like their calls. I mean, it stays on this. I use it all the time. It's something easy. I mean, it's in an easy spot to get to. So especially in the winter, like it's not dangling down here where you got to grab a bunch of calls. It's up kind of close. One thing to note: this is the single reed version. It is a little bit harder to blow. I wouldn't get it for like someone's first duck call. That's just me. Once you start understanding back pressure, it starts to become a little bit easier to use. So it's got a little bit different tone to it. It's a polycarb call. It's interesting. They're all made in the United States. They're a little bit more expensive. Like I said, it's a good call. I do use it quite a bit. It is one of those things that stays on my lanyard all the time. It's a good call. Good hen mallard call. Now, moving on. Like I said, all these first ones that I go over, these always stay on here. This is what they call a 6-in-1. I call it a Teal Whistle. This is probably the most important call that I have. That's why I have it at an easy to reach place. Can you stop? But you can do a whole bunch of stuff. You can do doves, drakes, male, drake mallard, drake teal, drake pintail. It's a very versatile call, something that not a lot of people use. If you've seen my last video, you know I like to be different than most people when it comes to duck hunting, because the more diversity you have, the better it is. One important thing to note, you can do widgeon on it. One important thing is you got to have the right decoys in your spread to do the right calls, right? You don't want to be doing a widgeon call and have no widgeon in there, because that doesn't make sense. But like I said, you can do your just teal call, so it's you got your widgeon, which is 3 notes. It's now my dogs are getting all riled up because they want to go duck hunting. But got your drake mallard, which is, and your pintail. These are all I use all these a lot. So very versatile call. Probably the most important one I have. I have no idea what brand this is. It was painted over a long time ago and it was gifted to me, so it's one of those things. Duck Commander, obviously, would be probably the best place there. The people that actually created this. Teal Whistle, so that'd definitely be a place I would go to pick it up. They're really good. Finally, this one actually, it depends on what I am doing at the time, what time of year it is. I usually run 2 different calls. If it's late season, I run, this is an RDC, so regulation duck call 200, yeah. So it's a double reed Duck Commander duck call, works really well. It's obviously, I mean, in my opinion, it's one of the better calls that I have. Got a lot of range to it. It's very easy to blow. It's a good duck call. I couldn't tell you what the price point is on this. Probably similar to the rest of the duck calls. You mind? Yeah, so that's what's on here right now. I do switch it out. This is more of a late season duck call because a lot of the teal have moved out by that point in time. But early in the season, I do run another duck commander. This is a duck commander teal call. So you got your normal. So it's a hen. It's a hen teal instead of a male drake teal. So you have your hen mallard, which is, and your teal, which is. So it's just a little higher pitch. It's a little bit shorter. It's really useful early season again because it's different. You're not just banging on a mallard call, and it actually can kind of help sometimes later in the season. So just something to keep in mind, right? So that's my duck call lanyard. Again, a lot of this stuff isn't all that expensive. It's really good. I've used it for years. It works really well. Yeah. So, all right, going on to my Goose Lanyard. Yeah, so again, lanyard's heavy hauler. Honestly, I'm not too big of a fan of this one just because it's not really like universal or like uniform like this one is, where everything's kind of got a place for itself. It's, you know, obviously it looks like a big jumbled mess right now, but everything's kind of got a spot, right? This one, not so much. It's totally up to you how you set it up. The reason I like it is because most of the time that I am using it, I'm in a lay down blind, so it's not really hanging off me as much, so it's a lot easier to get to. Again, we're just going to start off same one. Obviously, this one goes back and forth between the two, depending on what I'm doing each day. Like I said, if it's goose hunting, I stick with this. If it's duck hunting, I put that on the other one. Zink Power Clucker 1, PC1, you know, very good. This is gosh, a Lohman, spelled Lohman. This is weird. They don't sell these anymore. I found this in our, hunting cabinet, obviously, but I like it. It's got a good moan to it. It's not like as sharp as a break as something else, but it's like I said, it's got a good moan to it, which is what I like for it. So when geese aren't really talking, you can just give them a it's pretty big and annoying, but it's something easy to grab too. You don't really use it when they're in close, unless you're just blowing on it easily, like right. So there's that. Moving down the list here, this is a Night and Hail. It's Night and Hail Magnum Clucker Model 218. Again, it's just one of those things I found. My dad's got a lot of calls just lying around. I started playing with them, see what I can use, what works, what doesn't. So, I mean, it's lightweight. It's good when it's a lot more air pressure to get through it. It's not as easy of a break as this. I actually don't use it that much. It's something that I can use. It works. If I need it, if there's geese really close or something like that we want to turn, if I just run, that's what most of this stuff is I can just run and grab it, and I don't have to worry too much about, if it works or not. That's mostly what these are. Moving on from that, this is a Buck Gardner Lesser Canada Goose Call. Buck Gardner makes really good products. I can't say enough good things about them either. Again, a little bit more pricey than a Duck Commander. I don't have any Duck Commander Goose Calls, just because I just don't need Goose Calls. I've been lucky enough to not have to need Goose Calls. Yeah, so Buck Gardner Lesser Canada Goose Call. It's a good goose call. It's a little bit higher pitched. It's more like that Power Clucker. yeah, it's a good goose call. And finally on my Goose Lanyard, this is, again, it's a Beaver Creek game calls. This is wood. I've never actually used a wooden duck call, or I have, but I've never had one for my own. This is a wooden goose call. It's not quite the same. I have heard concerns that in the winter the wood actually freezes, which can be concerning. But again, it's similar to the Dark Knight. It's not something I would get. It's similar to this too. You can't really use one of these without understanding back pressure. You got to figure out how it breaks. It's very complicated. These goose calls, these little ones, those are kind of easier to get the hang of. This one, not so much. I still mess up with it. I'm human, but these two, you kind of got to understand what's going on. This one, again, like I said, I'm a Beaver Creek. I'm on the Beaver Creek Game Calls Pro staff. I'm not getting paid by them or anything like that. I just get stuff a little bit cheaper. I like it. I haven't really had a chance to use it yet. I don't know how geese react to it, unlike my duck call, where I was hunting last year. I didn't really get to see a lot of geese or use it on a lot of geese. So I didn't do too many goose hunts. So it was one of those things. But this, it's got a very specific break on it. I'm just playing with it there. So you can't really go too hard. You can't overpressure it, so it just cuts off. So you kind of got to play with it. So, yeah. That's it for this week's Equipment Corner.